In the last episode, guys, we had the amazing pleasure to taste the Koshary. Fantastic dish from the Egyptian culture. I think you'd really appreciate it. But today we are here to explain you the commonality between this dish and what I decided to pair with, which is the orecchiette.
We picked orecchiette because it also has two carbs together.
The name of the dish is orecchiette, rucola and patate, okay?
So what's orecchiette?
Orecchiette is the name of the pasta, and the reason why they are called like this is because they resemble the shape of ear.
So orecchiette means the ear.
It means small ear.
Small ear.
So in Italian we say orecchio, so it's the normal shape of the ear. Orecchiette, when we play with words, we mean like small female orecchie, okay? I wanted to mention something more about the orecchiette. We also call it a bandir in the dialect language from Foggia, which it means the flag. And this is because it resembles the colors of the Italian flag. A little bit like the Egyptian one.
Koshary,
right?
Yeah, it's the same, it's crazy.
That's incredible how you see like those commonalities like this naturally comes up by doing what we are doing right now. Funny enough, you mentioned in the previous episode about Koshary being served to common workers.
Yeah.
So even orecchiette, they come from a poor tradition. They specifically come from Apulia, which is the region where I come from. And this dish, not the orecchiette, be careful because I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the history soon. But orecchiette, rucola e patate is a dish that comes from Foggia, which is the city where I come from.
So it's very close to your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Does it bring back memories?
Oh, definitely, yes. I remember my grandmom preparing orecchiette all the time for me since I was a kid. I remember being under the table, like stealing pieces of pasta from her and eating it raw. Yeah, and she was like saying, "You don't need to do this. This is not good for the stomach." But anyway. So yeah, it's definitely a dish that is really close to my heart, and that's why I decided to pair it with your Koshary, because it resembles the culture where I'm coming from. I feel really a strong attachment to this recipe. So to mention a little bit more about the history, as I was saying earlier, orecchiette, rucola e patate coming from Foggia, but actually the first sign of orecchiette itself was actually around the 12 and 1300 in the chief town of Apulia called Bari, closed to Foggia, where actually they call it la strascinate, another dialect terminology which basically describe the way you create the shape of the orecchiette, because strascinate comes from strascinare, which is basically drag the piece of pasta onto the surface, any surface, but usually we use like wooden chopping board, like
rough surface.
Yeah, to a rough surface to actually give a rough filling to the pasta, because we embrace even better the sauce, and then you basically invert it and curl it on your tongue to create that hollow shape, which will then kind of get
filled with
the sauce and everything else. Yeah, correct. Yes. We actually discovered that 400 years after orecchiette was mentioned in the Chinese culture. The story goes about Huanglong Emperor, this Chinese emperor, that one day he dressed himself as an ordinary person, and he decided to take a trip on the West Lake, Huanglong should be called, nearby Beijing, and he ended up sharing this plate of noodles, boat trip, with a fisherman and his daughter. So now, let's get busy in the kitchen. In a large bowl, mix semolina flour and water. I use all fine semolina in this recipe, but you can also play with a bit of coarse semola, as we call it in Italy, or the wholemeal one. I thought it's better to give you a precise amount that works easily for the end product. Basically, I always see my grandmom doing it without measurement, so expect it to be a tough dough. If you add more water, the dough will be softer and difficult to work with. I do mix it in a bowl as well, because I think it's easier and less messy. Put it on the table and start kneading it in between your hands for at least 20 minutes. This will give the pasta a good bite consistency. And as you can see, towards the end, the pasta will be whiter in color and smoother. Let it rest for at least 30 minutes on a wood chopping board. Cover it with cling film, not to dry out, and to soften up. Peel a clove of garlic, Make sure you choose good quality ones, usually bigger in size and with violet stripes, like the one that we hang on the wall in Italy, and thinly slice it. Take the whole red chili, you can choose medium, mild or very hot, it's really up to you, and then slice it in half, lengthwise. Deseed it and thinly slice it. Add both of them in a hot pan with some extra virgin olive oil and gently fry it for 2 minutes on low heat. It's very important not to overcook it, otherwise the chili and the garlic will burn and release a bitter taste. Keep some of this oil aside, we are going to use it later on to finish the plate. For the tomato sauce, in a saucepan pour some extra virgin olive oil along with 1 clove of sliced garlic. Gently fry it for a minute on low heat and then add the chopped San Marzano tomato pulp and let it simmer for a couple of minutes. Lightly season with salt and black pepper to your taste and then put the lid on. At this stage I suggest not to season it too much and cook it for only 15 minutes to still perceive the sweetness and the freshness of the tomatoes. In the meantime, rinse the rocket a few times in cold water and discard the big stems. Strain it and fluff it up as not to be stuck together and keep it on a plate for now. Fill up the sink with cold water again and pour in the Jersey Royal potatoes. Wash it thoroughly, changing the water a few times until it's totally clean. Let's check on the tomato sauce. It should be done by now. Take it off the heat and put it aside. After washing the potatoes, cut it in half lengthwise and then thoroughly in 2 to 3 cm pieces and put it in a bowl filled with cold water to avoid oxidation. Now, fill up a big pot of water and bring it to a boil. We now prepare the orecchiette. After the resting time, the dough will be smoother and softer to the touch. Divide the pasta dough in small equal parts. Take one piece at a time and leave the rest covered with cling film to avoid any dryness. See how you can feel the difference in texture now? Start rolling each piece on the table in between your hands till ended up with a rope shape with a diameter of 1 centimeter and a half. Cut the pasta roll in half and put it side by side. This is a tip to go faster and allows you to cut it in equal slices. Then cut it in small square pieces, approximately 1 centimeter and a half. Place the front tip of an all-bent knife onto one corner of a piece of the pasta dough, press and roll it diagonally toward yourself, and then grab it with both hands and unfold it and turn it inside out with your thumb, creating a hollow shape. Once the water has reached boiling point, season it with rock salt, but be careful not to over-season it, otherwise the pasta we're going to add after is going to lose its natural sweetness. Then add in the potato cubes first and cook it for about 15 minutes. Check the texture and test the firmness of the potatoes every now and then, not to end up with mushy potatoes. Add the pasta when the potatoes are almost cooked all the way through, and then cook it for further 5 to 6 minutes. Be flexible to understand that there are so many variables during the cooking process depending on your taste. And be aware that fresh pasta doesn't need as much time as dry pasta from the shops. Lastly, add the rocket for 1 minute only to maintain its crunchy texture. Once you're happy with the consistency, strain everything from the pot, keeping some of the cooking water aside. Put the pasta and the vegetables back in a sizzling pan of chili and garlic oil which we made earlier, and then touch of the cooking water if needed. Give time to the pasta
Embrace the aroma of the oil and emulsify together. Be careful, this is the most important part. Finish it off with some hot tomato sauce. And then get the chili oil and garlic and drizzle it over the top.
I really hope you enjoyed your orecchiette. How was Sarah?
Buonissime.
Wow, she's learning Italian. And follow us on the next episode, we got something really cool coming up for you. So, subscribe to our channel
Like and share.
and please support